What's up, guys? We are back at the airport and we have a awesome flight planned for today. So, quick backstory. A few months ago, I was at a birthday party with my kids at a farm called Lily Grace Farms, and we got to talking to one of the people that was working there. It's a young lady by the name of Grace, and her dad owned the farm. We got to talking to her. My wife noticed she had an airplane hanging around her neck, so we started asking questions. Are you into flying? Do you like airplanes? And she just went off and started telling us all these amazing facts about her favorite airplanes, the stats, how high they fly, what engines they have. I mean, you name it, she knew about these aircraft. So then we got to talking to her dad, and of course I said, hey, your daughter's really into airplanes. Has she flown before? And he said, oh, she flew one time and this and that. And I was like, well, I own an airplane. Would you be interested in going flying? Well, of course, they said, yes, we'd love to go flying, and she was so excited about it. And so we've been trying to set this up for the last couple of months. Schedules, annual inspections, you name it, stuff got in the way. But today, the weather is nice. I am free. They are free. They're on their way here right now. So we're going to take, I got a stain on my shirt. We're going to take Gracie flying today, and I'm excited. So we'll jump in the cockpit after this, and we'll get going. See you guys.
All right, we're recording. What's up, everybody? We've got Gracie and Kent on board. We've already gone through our checklist, and we're ready for taxi. We've done our run-up, and I think we're ready to get going. What do you guys say? Yep. All right.
Sure.
All right. We'll get rolling, and we'll make a radio call. First thing we do after we get rolling is test our brakes, though, because those have to work as well. So we get rolling, tap them, and they're working. Somerville traffic, Mooney 79811 rear hangers, taxi to the ramp, Somerville.
Yep.
And we're going to look right, make sure we're clear, look left, make sure we're clear. We always do that before we cross. I see this guy's got his engine running, so I'm making sure he's looking at me as well. Give him a wave. That confirms they see us. And then we'll make another call since now we know which runway we're going to. Somerville traffic, Mooney 79811 on the ramp, taxi runway 24, Somerville.
Door?
What's that?
Want me to close the door?
Nope.
All right.
That's a good question, though. So once we get up here, we're going to go over our safety briefing, and that's one of the things I'm going to tell you is if you think you need to say something, say something. But yeah, we'll leave it open until we get ready for takeoff.
Alrighty.
We've got one aircraft holding short of 2-4 up there. But we're not in a rush either, so. Actually not too bad yet, heat-wise. In the summer here, it gets brutal on the ground. I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been in a PA-40 when it was hot, and it was terrible.
Those are even worse because they are like glass up here. You have no shade.
Yeah.
The DA-20s are worse, but yeah, the DA-40 is all glass, so you're just cooking in there. While we're waiting, we'll go over our safety briefing, okay?
Alrighty.
Cool, so seatbelts. I saw you put it on, but to take it off, it's just like in a car. You push that red button, okay? Don't worry about the shoulder harness when you're getting out. It'll come off like a normal seatbelt, but you already got out once like that, so you know how that works. Kent, yours is more like a traditional seatbelt. You lift up on that flap. Yep, exactly, to get out, okay? Seatbelts have to be on, lap belts for takeoff and landing, lap belts and shoulder belts for takeoff and landing, lap belts for the whole flight. Just leave the shoulder strap on so you don't have to worry about it. Air vents, got air up here. I've got air down here that I can blow on you. Kent, you pretty much just have this, or I can kind of aim this back there. We have heat as well. We're not going to need it today. But if you guys get hot, cold, speak up. Let me know. I'll do what I can to help you. If you start feeling sick or anything like that, also let me know. I got bags. Okay? All right, fire extinguisher. I'll have you guys look at it. It's on the ground behind me. You see it? Okay?
Sure.
We know what that's for if I need it. Doors, I'll be the one always to close the door, but I'll show you how it's done, okay? So there's no slamming in the Mooney. You just pull it closed. You hear an audible lock. That door's closed, but I'm going to have you open it. So grab that and just pull back nice and easy, and then shove it open with your shoulder. There you go. That's how you open the door, okay? If you need to open the door or we have to land off airport for any reason, it sounds scary, but it's not that big of a deal. We'll just leave the gear up, slide it in into a nice big open field. It's no big deal. We'll leave the plane out there. You're going to open that door. If I can't, I'll open it. You're the first one out of the airplane. You're the second one out of the airplane. I'm the third one out, okay? And I'll move the seat up. You get out behind her. Cool? And then everyone, whatever way the tail's pointing, that's the meeting spot behind the airplane. We just walk back 700 feet, get away from the plane, and then we'll meet back there. Cool? Traffic and talking. Like I said, if you can't hear yourself, I can't hear you either. When we're talking like this, nobody outside the airplane can hear us. It's just an intercom. Only if you hit that button will you talk on the radio. Only if I hit this button will I talk on the radio. Okay? And we'll just be talking on whatever frequency is there. So we might talk to your traffic controller today. I don't know. I'll tell you. If someone needs to talk to me, they're going to say my tail number first. I'll hear it. You might not hear it, but if I hear it and I need to hear something, I'll just put my finger up before talking to let you know that I got to listen on the radio real quick, okay? Yeah, and then takeoff and landing, sterile cockpit. So if you see something, say something, but if you see something like, oh, that's a cool car, or oh, look at the campfire, don't tell me about that.
Right.
We keep quiet on takeoff and landing so we can focus on takeoff and landing. But if you see like another aircraft or a bird or something that is a safety issue, always bring that up, okay? Don't assume that I see it. Any questions?
No, sir.
Oh, cool. So we'll use this time to get through our checklist then. So fuel cylinder handle is on the correct tank, which is the right tank in this case. Cowl flaps are still open. Power boost is closed. I'll explain the power boost when we get in the air. Remind me and I'll tell you about it, but we want to close on the ground. Seatbelts are all on. We just checked it. Door still open. We're going to close that before we take off. We're going to leave it open for now. You can even push it open a little more and cool your dad off. Our retraction lever, we're clear. No one put a water bottle down here. It looks like we're good. Toga button is our takeoff and go around button. You'll watch the flight director here. Watch what happens when I push it. There you go. Now it's on takeoff mode. Pilot window, we'll bring that closed once we get going, and then I have a final flow where I'll go over my fuel pump, my landing light, my flaps, which we can do now. So flaps in this airplane are they're manual as well, so it'll lock them. Do that, and then you pump them down. And then to bring the flaps up, you just unlock it like that. Okay, so locked. Watch the flaps will go down one notch. There you go. So that we saw them go down on both sides. We're good. That's one notch of flaps for takeoff. Okay, so let's go over our departure plan. So you can see on the GPS here, Gracie, that we're going to take off on runway 24. We're going to be going that way, but we're going to be going that way. That's where Myrtle Beach is. So we'll go over our departure plan right now. So we're going to be taking off runway 24. We see we're holding short of runway 24. That's what we expect. We're going to take off, make left crosswind, and we do this every flight, by the way. I'm not doing this just for your benefit. This is what you do before you take off. You go over what you're going to do before you get in the air.
Yep.
So left crosswind, then we're going to turn downwind, which is going this way, and we'll depart off the downwind straight out on course, okay? Then we discuss what we're going to do once we get on the runway. So we're going to roll on runway 24. We're going to roll on the power nice and smooth. At our weight today, we should be off the ground at or before the 1,000-foot marker. So there's those big white marks on the runway. If we're not rotating right about the 1,000-foot markers or before, I know something's wrong. We don't have full engine power or anything like that. We have 5,000 feet of runway, 4,000 feet after that to come to a stop. So we're going to pull the power, come to a nice slow stop, get off the runway, and figure out what's going on. Anything goes wrong in the air, if we have runway left and the gear's down, we're going to land. If the gear's up, we're just going to slide it in on the belly. There's no other good options off runway 24, so if anything goes wrong below 1,000 feet, we just have to find the best place to land. Above 1,000 feet, we'll consider a turn back to the runway. Okay? And then when there's two pilots in the front seat, we discuss who's flying so that there's not two people fighting over the yoke. So I'll say it's going to be a left seat takeoff today, so I'll be the one flying. If you see something, say something. And that's good. And then if you were doing the radios, we would make sure that you have the correct frequency in there, which we do. And then we're good. Okay, so beacon, nav light, landing light, flaps, mixture, prop, good. So we're coming up final flow. I'll have you close that door. There we go. Push on it, make sure it's closed. Okay. Make sure it comes full rich. Alright, you guys ready to go? Sure. Alright, let's do it. I don't hear anybody. I don't see anybody on final. I say it's our runway. Somerville traffic, Mooney 79811, taking off runway 24 will be downwind departure
approaching
to the northeast.
runway 24.
Somerville.
Entered runway 24, 4,900 feet
Still checking,
remaining.
make sure nobody's doing an emergency landing right over our heads or anything like that. But I think we're good. Alright. We'll confirm 24. We're used to this airport, so we know it is 24, but I always say, okay, we see 24 on the runway.
Yep.
Okay, let's get going. Roll on the power nice and easy. If you want to follow me on the controls, you can, Gracie. If you want to put one hand on the yoke, right there. Yep. Alright. So wait for it. There's full power. RPM's good. All of our engine instruments are in the green. We're going to maintain center line. Check our airspeed. It's alive. Here's the 1,000-foot markers. And there it goes. Airplane's flying. That's what we expected. Tap the brakes. Make sure we got a good positive rate. We got it. Gears coming up. Okay, we're going to keep the nose down and increase our airspeed. That's the key here. We want a lot of airspeed. Flaps are coming up above the trees. A little bit of forward trim, so we're not having to pull back. There we go. Let the airplane speed up. Quick glance at the engine instruments. Everything's looking good. There's 110. We're going to accelerate to 120 miles an hour. That's our cruise climb speed, and then we'll climb out at that. Alright, we're going to bring the engine power back, just because we don't want to get too hot, or bring the RPM back as well to 2,500. Open up our power boost, relieve a little bit of stress on the engine. We should be coming up 600-700 feet. We are. We'll look, make sure we're good. We'll make a left crosswind. Somerville traffic, Mooney 79811, left crosswind, runway 24, Somerville traffic. Okay, so we're making a crosswind turn. Watching our airspeed, we're getting a little, not too slow, but slower than I like to be. And the only reason I want speed right now is to cool the engine down. The airplane's flying just fine, but I like to keep the engine cool, so, and it's cooking right now. Alright, there's our crosswind turn. We're good for downwind already, so. Somerville traffic, Mooney 79 or 811, left downwind 24, Somerville. Okay, so now we're parallel to the runway, that's our downwind. We'll level out. I'm watching my engine temperature. My hottest cylinder right now is right there, and I want to get that below 400. And Somerville traffic, Mooney 79 or 811, departing off the downwind 24. We are northeast bound, Somerville. Okay, so now we're leaving the airport, or excuse me, leaving the pattern. We'll switch over to Charleston approach in case we want to talk to them.
Alright.
So, can you see down here? See how that magenta line is off to the left? That means
Yes, sir.
our GPS course is over there. You see that little magenta diamond? That's our actual track. So our heading right now is 054, but our track is a little bit to the left of that because we're fighting a little bit of a crosswind. So you can see that this magenta diamond, we're going to intercept that course. So once we intercept that GPS course, that line's going to come into the middle. We'll turn the plane to intercept it and follow it all the way to Conway, which is where we're going.
Alright.
And we're still climbing real good. We're checking our engine temps. They're coming down. We like to see that. All of our engine instruments down here are still in the green. Now we can take a look out the window and see those big rainstorms out there. Kent, you can take this down if you want. Look at those big, giant rainstorms. Those are tons of rain out there.
Yeah, don't want to get caught in that.
But you can see how easy it is to navigate that in the air. You just go around it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, look at our ground track now. So now we're coming up. That track's coming in, and it syncs up with this too, you can see. We're flying to that magenta line, and we're going to intercept it. Okay, so we're right on our line now, so we're going to make a little bit of a right turn until that magenta diamond lines up directly with our course. Keep turning, and we're going to level the wings. Now we're directly on course. We'll sync our heading again, check that message. Fuel tank, we don't need a change, it's just a real quick reminder. Okay, now let's set up our flight director. Okay, so we want it to follow our navigation course, which is right now our GPS, so we'll hit that nav button. Go ahead and hit that for me.
Nav?
Nav, yep. Okay, now we got, it says GPS up here. That's good, that's what we wanted. Now hit IAS, which stands for indicated airspeed mode. Now click it again until it lights up. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, so the reason we did that is we got to tell the airplane how we want it to get to 3,500 feet. So we wanted to maintain a certain airspeed. I wanted to maintain 106 knots. So roll that until that says 106.
Up.
Right, you do it. You figure it out. Up or down. 106. Right there. Perfect. Okay. So if the autopilot was on, you'd be controlling the plane. We're just setting up this flight director. So the flight director is that magenta cross in the middle. So if we get off course here, see how it's telling me to go left? If I slide this dot and get that dot in the middle of those crosshairs, the plane will fly exactly what you told it to do. So we told it to follow GPS and maintain 106 knots up to 3,500 feet. So you keep that dot in the middle of those magenta lines and we'll do exactly that. The trick is making sure you tell it to do what you want it to do, because it'll do whatever. Now if you engage the autopilot, go ahead and hit AP for autopilot. Now the plane is flying itself, and since we already had it on that dot, it barely moved, right?
Yep.
But that's what it's going to do. Now it's going to keep flying. And we'll use autopilot as a safety feature because now we can take our eyes and our hand off the yoke. We can focus on the engine if we need to, or go through a checklist, whatever it is. So I can focus a little bit more on the engine, tune that in, a little more power. We're already at altitude, and it is smooth up here, so we'll just stay at 3,500.
Yep.
And since flying directly to Myrtle Beach would be boring, I say we fly out to the beach and fly up the coast. You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Good. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll maintain this heading. We're not going to add anything else to do. We're going to get the airplane configured for cruise, and then we'll head to the coast, okay? Okay, so feel the airplane speeding up. You can hear it, hear the air speeding up, okay?
Yeah.
So rotate this to the left, but just slowly until that says 2,400. Don't push it, just rotate it. Just turn it like this.
Up.
Yep. Keep going, keep going. Until that says 2,400. Just get it close. Right about there. Perfect. Perfect, okay. Next thing we're going to do is going to push the cowl flaps, and I'll do that. Okay. Usually we'd be full power if we were going somewhere. We're not really going somewhere today, so let's just pull it back a little bit. We'll conserve some fuel.
A little bit broken. Did you want 1.5?
Go to like 22 inches of manifold pressure. And then I'm going to pull the fuel way back. We're burning way too much fuel, so I'm going to lean this out. I'm watching my fuel flow. I want to be right around 8.5 gallons an hour. Okay, that was our rough check. Now we'll come back in a minute and double check it, make sure that we like what we see. Next thing we do, look out the window again, make sure we don't have any traffic coming. I don't see any traffic, we're good. And we're going to check our checklist now, okay? So our climb checklist, en route climb, we're at cruise. Manifold pressure, we set that for 22, it's still at 22, we like it. Mixture, we like our fuel flow, we're good. You set the propeller for me, so that's good. Flaps are up, we're going to push that, make sure they're up, they are. All flaps are closed, power boost is open. Autopilot is set, we like what it's doing right now. Boost pump is off, the landing light is off. That's our checklist. And now is when you scoot the seat back and get relaxed. If you're going somewhere far, you can kick back and relax at this point. Okay, so what we'll do is we are clear of Charleston's airspace, which is that magenta like circle there. That's our class Charlie.
Yep.
So we can make a right turn now and go to the coast if you want. So we'll fly the airplane by hand in a minute, but I also want to show you the autopilot. So our heading right now is synced. So you see this knob here I'm turning, see that heading bug? Moving? Okay, so click that in, push it. Now you just synced it. Now turn on heading mode. Now it's not following the GPS anymore, it's following that heading bug. So if you turn that, the plane will turn. So give me a let's see, 150 heading. So you're heading 07 or 069 right now, so 070 basically. So dial this until it says 150.
On this?
Yeah, to the right. Spin it. Just spin it. Keep going, quick. 150, all the way. Keep going, keep going, keep going. There you go. So that says 150.
10 tower 126.0.
150?
Yep.
60, good night to you, American 15-2.
Perfect. Okay, so now the plane's going to turn to a heading of 150. And our head's out the window.
650, contact with center 132.9.
We're flying over Monk's Corner now. That's Berkeley County Airport, so you guys flew out of that before.
Yep.
We're high enough, we're at 3,500 feet that we don't really need to tune in and call them.
30,
Cool.
Charleston approach.
Heading 150 now.
Visual approach, runway 15.
Someone's taking off.
Are they?
Yep.
Oh yeah, they are, yep. Alright, now let's contact Charleston and see if we can get flight following. You know what flight following is?
No.
Okay, so when you're flying somewhere on a VFR day like today, we didn't file a flight plan with anybody. We just took off, didn't tell anybody, right? So what we can do is if we want to go to Conway, which we do, we can contact Charleston and ask them for radar services or flight following to our destination. So we'll call them and ask them to follow us all the way there, and they'll watch us on radar. They'll give us traffic alerts, and then if something goes wrong, you're already talking to air traffic control, so you already have them tuned up. They're already watching you. It's just an added safety feature that's free to everybody. Charleston approach, Mooney 79811.
You're going 79811, so request.
Yeah, Charleston approach, Mooney 79811. 2 miles southeast of Berkeley County Airport, 3,500. Request a flight following to Conway, Hotel Yankee Whiskey at 3,500 feet. Type Mike 20 Papa, and we'd like to fly up the coast on our way there.
We're out of standby.
So we just told them where we were, our altitude, what we wanted to do, how high we wanted to be when we were going there, and then I told him the type of aircraft we are, so he knows how fast we should be going and how high we can fly. And then I told him that we want to fly to the coast, because otherwise he'd be like, well, Conway's that way, why are you going that way?
79811, squawk 3470.
3470, buddy, 79811. Okay, so he gives us a discrete squawk code. Now on his radar screen, that number's on there, he knows that's us. And once
2811, ready to contact, 5 miles southeast of Berkeley County, maintain VFR, proceed on course to the southeast to follow the coastline.
Alright, position check, maintain VFR, buddy, 79811, thank you.
811, no problem, similar 2990, to verify your level of 3,500.
90 and affirmative 3,500, buddy, 79811.
Alright, 3030, so to maintain
so,
5,000.
Cool. Now he's watching us. So he told us we could proceed southeast to the coast, which we're already doing. So once we hit the coast, we'll turn left and follow it up. Cool? Woo. Alright, any questions so far?
No, sir.
Alright, pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, once you get up here, it's easy, especially when the autopilot's flying for you.
Yeah.
But that's no fun. So we're gonna have you fly us. So what we're gonna do is, whenever you hand off control of an aircraft to someone else in the airplane, I'm sure you did this when you're flying a DA-40. They always say your airplane, right? So right now I'm the pilot in command. So when I want you to be the pilot in command, I'll say your airplane. You're gonna grab the yoke and say my airplane, and I'll say your airplane. You say it like that so that you confirm for sure that there's only one person flying the airplane. You'd think it's obvious. There are examples of airline pilots not doing that, and then two guys fighting each other.
Yeah, and I can.
811, Roger. So it's an important thing to do. He just told us to report any changes in altitude. So now you gotta be really good. You gotta maintain 3,500. I'll help you obviously, but we're gonna maintain 3,500 and not deviate from that. Okay, so what we'll do is you'll have one hand on the yoke, it'll be your right hand. Your left hand would be just for this. If your leg will reach up here, see if your leg will reach. See if you can like rest your hand on your leg. You rest your hand on your leg, perfect. That's going to be the most comfortable position, because you're barely going to be moving this yoke if you're doing it right. It's just going to be small little corrections once in a while. I mean, you could feel the autopilot flying. The yoke's barely moving, right? It's just a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to get used to the sight picture, which is really hard to do when there's no horizon. So the ocean and the sky are the same color right now, so it's extra challenging. But get used to what the sight picture looks like, right? And I'm going to pick up the autopilot. We're going to fly together for a minute, right? This is what level flight looks like, okay? Now I'm going to pitch the nose down. You see how the ground's getting bigger and bigger? You see more of the ground?
Yep.
That's a descent. I'm going to pull up. You're going to feel a little bit of G's. Don't worry about it. Now you see how you can barely see the ground?
Yep.
That's a climb, okay? That is what you want to see. So it takes time to get used to it, but that's called the sight picture, and that's what you get used to. Now, you feel this plane turning to the left? Okay, don't let it do that. We're going to come back. There you go. So this is what straight and level looks like. Every once in a while, glance inside the cockpit and double check your altimeter, 3,500. Okay, if we're a little high, yep, a little low, you're going to fix it, and it's very small movements. I mean, we're talking pressure of your thumb, just little movements. Okay, if we find yourself 100 feet high, you don't got to pitch down real hard. Just bring the nose below the horizon, make sure we're descending at like right here, 100 feet a minute. The plane will get back down there nice and easy.
Yep.
If you're doing it right, the guy in the back should never even know you were off altitude. You should just barely correct, and he shouldn't feel like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, I'm going to say your airplane, you say my airplane, I say your airplane. So your airplane.
My airplane?
Your airplane. Okay, you're the one flying now. I'll help you if you need it, just let me know. The biggest thing people do when they're flying, when they're new, is they let the plane fly them. So an example would be like if the plane starts listing to the left here, like my wife did this. She said, what do I do? I'm like, you turn the plane back. Like, just turn it back. You know, and she's like, oh, I don't want to do it. So don't let the plane fly you. If the plane, you hit turbulence and the plane's doing something, you tell the plane where you want it to go. So you see that big tower out there?
Yep.
Let's not go toward that, because that's at 2,000 feet. So that's really close. So let's pick up, you see that like little piece of land that jets out? I don't know what that's called. I should know, I live in Charleston. But whatever, that little point out there of land.
Yep.
Let's point the plane toward that, okay? So roll the wings to the right. And don't be afraid to do it. Like, you tell the plane, like, I want to roll. There you go. Now hold that. Now you're going to put the yoke back in the middle, and it'll just hold that. And then when you get on the heading you want, roll it back. Alright? Alright, cool. And now we're going to just fly to that. When you're flying VFR like this, when you're looking out the window, that's how you're flying. You're picking points to fly to. Right? Every once in a while, you're looking down at your GPS or your altimeter to make sure things are going how you expect them to be. Okay, so here, let's watch our altitude now. So what happened there is you thought we were descending. So we just gained 100 feet almost. That's good though. So let's try to get back down nice and easy. So we're going to pitch forward just a little bit. So to pitch forward, you push forward a little bit. There you go. Now you see how we're descending, 100 feet a minute. Just hold that. Don't descend any more than that. There you go. And then we're coming down, which is good. When you get to 33,500, then level out. There you go. So what people tend to do in the Mooney is they tend to climb because they can see too much of the horizon. You can see too much over the panel. People think that they're descending. So if you get, I'm here obviously, but if you do get overwhelmed and the plane is getting away from you, this is a level button.
Yeah.
If the plane is upside down and flying, you hit this button, it'll turn over and level itself. So it's like a, I call it the oh shit button. Like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it, hit that button. Okay, so now we're going to make our left turn, so we're going to look left first, make sure there's no airplanes out there.
Yep.
I don't see any. And we're going to make a nice turn. So we're going to make a standard rate turn. So we're going to turn the plane, I'll help you this time. Okay, nice and easy. We'll get it right there, and that's perfect. I think, yeah. And the nose is going to drop a little bit because we're using a little bit of the component of lift to turn us.
Yep.
So we got to pull back a little bit to compensate for that. But you already did. You're good. It's barely pulling back. Now level the wings. Yank it back over. Yank it over. There you go, like that. Cool. Alright, so when you're making turns of the airplane, hold on to the yoke.
Both hands?
No, just one hand.
Alright.
Just one hand. You don't have to be, like, you can tell it what you, like, really turn the plane. So, like, if I say make a right turn, we're going to go like this. Okay? And then going to lock that in, hold that turn.
Yep.
And then when I say level the wings, like that. Like, be deliberate with it.
Aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, you could be too aggressive, certainly. Like, if you were to yank it, but in this Mooney, it's pretty hard to do that, actually, because the yoke pressure gets pretty hard. But I just like to see people really, you know, fly the airplane. Tell the airplane where you want it to go. Don't let it do what it wants to do. You tell it where you want it to go. That's what I like to see. Alright, cool. So here's another learning experience. We lost our altitude there, but that's okay. That happens to everybody. We're 160 feet high. So we're going to notice it and correct it. When you eventually start taking flying lessons, if something like that happens, let your flight instructor or your DPE, whoever you're flying with, know that you've noticed it. Say, oh, I just noticed we're 100 feet high. I'm going to go ahead and correct it. Let them know that you've noticed it and that you're going to correct. You guys want to do a few maneuvers out here as well? Learn a couple of maneuvers. Nothing crazy. I think we should. Alright, let's try a couple here. My airplane.
Your airplane.
Alright. Dolphin approach, Mooney 79 or 811.
Go ahead.
Just making sure you can still hear us. Is it alright if we do some maneuvers out here over the coast where we're at currently?
Just press in position. Yeah, that's approved.
Alright, thank you. 811. Alright, cool. Alright, so what I like to do, people like, is steep turns, and this is one of the maneuvers you'll have to do if you get your pilot's license. So,
Done. You've done them already.
oh, you done steep turns?
I've done in Cessna 172.
Okay, cool. Well, let's do them again. So I got to practice. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to pick a point on the horizon. I'm going to pick that point on there, like right in front of us, okay? 3,500 feet in the Mooney. I'm already going fast enough, I don't got to add any power, but I'm going to give it 2 rolls back on the trim. Down here when I turn. On your commercial exam, you got to keep it within, I think, 50 feet. And on your private pilot, I think you got to do it within 100 feet. So I do have my commercial tickets, so I should be able to do this. We'll see. I haven't done them in a while. Alright, so we're going to do clearing turns first. We're not going to make the turn yet. We're going to make sure there's no other aircraft. I'll make a 90-degree turn. I don't see anybody. We can look behind us. I don't see anybody. We'll make a turn back toward our point, and we'll use those as our clearing turns. Alright, we're going to go left and then immediately into a right turn. So here we go.
Zero Mike Alpha, turn right, and then 100. 2811, just advise we're going to continue to the northeast.
811. That's exactly what we should feel.
0.85 miles north of the airport inbound MUN City of Lima.
Roll out.
South 47.
The one on the right.
Set up for Romeo, squawk to 0430.
That's hard to do when it's hazy.
Yeah.
I got it though. She's locked in. 3,500. Oh, I lost it at the end.
335. Set up for Romeo, we're to contact 2 miles northeast of Charleston. Maintain VFR on course, altimeter 2990.
Cool. I don't know if they would have passed me on that. I got 60 feet off at one point. So. Myrtle Beach approach, Mooney 79 or 811, 3,500. We're headed up the coast on our way to Conway.
Mooney 79811, Myrtle approach, we're on altimeter 2991. Advise when you have the weather at Conway.
2991, Wilco, Mooney 79 or 811. Alright, so now we got something to do, so let's sync our heading. It is autopilot on. It's fine. Okay. So we gotta figure out, we gotta get the weather at Conway. That's what he just told us to do. In this airplane, the easy way to do that is we can go to waypoint. I'll have you do it. So hit waypoint info.
Waypoint info?
Airport should automatically populate where we're going, and it did. So that's perfect. Hit frequencies. Yep, right there, yep. So our AWAS, that's our weather, 119 or 52. And we're using this radio right now as our secondary radio. This is our, so we can hit that, 119.52. Automatically puts it in our standby, and then hit the top one of those.
30, flighting 180 for sequence.
Now, you see how these two are both lit up?
Yep.
COM2 and our mic. So we're talking on COM2 right now. We're talking on this COM. We want to listen on COM1 and not talk on it, so just hit that top COM button so it lights up. Yep. 310 at 4.
With SM1 Alpha Delta, proceed on course.
Okay.
On course.
So now what we're going to do is pick a runway to land on. So, the wind is 310 at 4 knots. So it means it's coming out of heading 310. 310 is about like, I don't know, like that.
Yeah.
This way. So it's kind of a headwind. Or it's kind of a crosswind rather. So 310 is favoring 04. So we get a little more of a headwind landing on 04 than we do on 22. So we're going to choose 04.
Alright.
That's how we decide what runway we're going to land on. And Myrtle Beach approach, Mooney 790811. We have the weather at Conway.
Mooney 811, roger.
And would you rather us go to the west of your airspace, Mooney 790811?
Hey, Mooney 811, what are your intentions? You're just going to fly northeastbound along the coast?
Yeah, we're going to come up the coast and then we're going to land at Conway.
And Mooney 811, roger. I can have you go all the way up to the west side of Myrtle, and then after that, I'd rather have you just proceed northbound for Conway.
After that, that'll work for us. Just let us know, A1. Thank you. Alright, cool. So it's kind of cool. You see the fire smoke out there?
Yeah.
How it's blowing that way?
Yep.
So the wind's going that way on the ground, but right here we have a 13-knot headwind. So on the ground, the wind's going that way, and up here it's going this way,
Yeah.
which means in between where we are and the ground, there's wind shear. So when we descend, you always feel turbulence in wind shear. It could be minor, but there's always some type of turbulence.
Yeah.
So some other things we're looking at while we're flying is our fuel. So in this airplane, we have a fuel tank in each wing, and we have to, it only burns out of one at a time. So you got to pay attention. You can run out of gas on one and you can burn it out, right? And people do that. They crash land because of fuel starvation with a full tank in one wing because they forget to change. So the way I do it in this airplane is I always start on the left tank. I burn 10 gallons out of that tank at 10 gallons, so used at 10. I'm watching this the whole time, and once it gets to 10, I switch to the right tank. I burn 20 out of that tank. Then I come back to this tank for another 10, at which point I have 7 gallons left in either tank. What I just told you is over 4 hours of flying. It's like 4.5 hours of flying. So at that point, usually you're looking for a place to land anyways, because you got to go to the bathroom, or you're hungry, or whatever, you need a break. So I've never really dipped into the 7 gallons, but I also don't like the idea of only having 7 gallons left in either tank. So I usually planning a fuel stop at that point. But so if we're going to burn 10 off the left, we've already done that. We're burning off the right. We're at 19 gallons right now. So we still have another 10 gallons in that tank before I would switch, and we're not going to burn another 10 gallons before we get to Conway, so we're not going to switch tanks before we land. So we can tell ourselves that, and now once we're getting ready to land, we know we don't have to switch fuel tanks or anything like that. So now we are in his airspace, and we have a squawk code. So in Class Charlie airspace, all you need is a squawk code, and you can enter their airspace. So they don't have to actually tell you can enter. If they give you a squawk code, you can enter, but you have to do what he tells you to do.
Wow.
811,
start your northbound turn for Conway.
Alright, we're turning direct Conway, Mooney 790811. So we're going to go direct to Conway, activate nav button.
I could not imagine living in those houses along the shore.
What's that?
I couldn't imagine living in those houses along the shore.
Oh yeah. That's easy living right there. Okay, so while we have this downtime, we're going to try to stay ahead of the airplane. That's a term we use to stay, like, we don't want to have to do everything all at once. All right,
Yeah.
we want to have everything done ahead of time. So we'll go over our landing checklist, what we're going to do. So we have what's called a GUMPS check, G-U-M-P-S-S. So G is for Gas. So we check our gas situation. We already said that we're on the correct tank. We're not going to change tank, so gas is good. Undercarriage, which is our gear. So our gear right now is up. We want it up right now. We're going to do multiple gum checks before we land, so the gear is good for now. Mixture and prop. So mixture is good for now. Prop's good for now. Switches are good for now. We'll bring our fuel pump and our landing line on once we get a little closer. And then our seatbelts. So our seatbelts are on. So
Yeah.
that's our gums check. We've already loaded our approach in here. We've got our weather at the airport.
VFR altitude at pilot's discretion.
Altitude TD, Mooney 79811, thank you. There you go, just told us we can descend, so Gracie, I'll have you do this. We'll do an autopilot descent. So turn that to the left until we get to 1,100. So just spin it. You can go as quick as you want to, down to 110. There you go. Oh, one more, 1,100. Okay, so you've dialed in 1,100 feet. Notice the airplane didn't change altitude, okay? So you gotta tell it to go down there. So you said where you want it to go, now you gotta tell it how to get down there. So on the climb, we did an indicated airspeed. There's a VNAV, which the GPS can take you down. We're not going to use that. We're going to use vertical speed. I like to descend at 500 feet per minute. So hit VS and roll that 5 clicks forward until it says here, negative 500 feet. Go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the airplane going down?
Yep.
Okay, the only thing we're going to do now, Gracie, is pull this back to grab this. Put your finger here and slowly pull that back until it says 20 inches of manifold pressure. A little bit below, that's fine. 19's good, perfect. Because as we descend, there's more pressure down there,
Yeah.
so the manifold pressure is going to go up. So that's perfect. The reason we do that is because in the Mooney, it's fast. So if you descend, you can overspeed the aircraft.
Yeah.
So we just want to watch our airspeed. And we're really in no danger of overspeeding the aircraft, but in case it gets bumpy down there, we know there's going to be wind shear because we saw there was a change in wind direction. So no need to speed down there. We'll just take it nice and easy on the way down. Next thing we're going to do is get the frequency of the airport in our radio, which is 122.7. So hit, stand by. Go ahead and hit that one. Stand by. Yep. Dial in, just hit 227. 2, yep, 7. And then enter, don't transfer it in, just hit enter.
Mooney 811, no trust between you and
Right.
Conway. Radar search terminated. Squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
Squawk VFR, frequency change approved, Mooney 791. Thanks for your help, Yep. Alright, so Squawk VFR, 1200. Frequency change approved, means we don't have to talk to him anymore. We're in his airspace, but he said we can leave. So, see ya. Now hit the top one to put that, see how it went in standby? Flip it into our active. There you go. Now we're talking to the airport, okay?
Alright.
Conway traffic, Mooney 79811, about 7 miles south-southeast, and overfly midfield, enter left downwind, runway 04, full stop, Conway traffic. Okay, so let's go over our landing plan. So we're going to overfly the airfield, and then we're going to make a left turn to enter left downwind, then we'll make a left base turn, and then we'll make a turn onto final. We never say left final, we just say final approach. So we're going to turn onto final approach, and we'll land on runway 04. It'll be a left seat landing. I'll land the airplane today, but I'm going to have you try to land, okay? So I'm going to have your hand on the yoke, and I want you, don't fight me on it, we'll do it together, but I'm going to have you try to land the aircraft, okay? And we'll talk through it the whole time, and at any point you feel like you don't want to, just take your hand off the yoke. I'll be flying anyway, so it's no big deal, okay? Alright, that is definitely the airport, I see it. I'm going to make another call here.
Yep.
Conway traffic, Mooney 79811, 2 miles to the south, and overfly midfield at pattern altitude, enter left downwind 04, full stop, Conway traffic. Alright, autopilot's off. We're going to square up our approach to the airport here. I want to hit the runway like perpendicular so we have a nice easy left turn into the traffic pattern,
Yep.
which is on the other side of the airport, so that's why we're overflying it. And you can see like the airplane's trimmed perfectly. It's descending at about 400 feet a minute right now. There's not a whole lot of inputs we need to make, so we're going to level it out. Our eyes are where we're going here, so we're looking at the airport. I don't hear anybody, I don't see anybody. At these uncontrolled airports, you don't need to make radio calls, so there could be someone out here in an old airplane with no radio. So we always are looking for traffic.
Yep.
We're also watching our altitude. 1,100 feet is what we're looking for. 200 feet to go, that's going to be perfect. That's going to be perfect. Conway traffic, Mooney 79811, overflying midfield, pattern altitude, direct entry left downwind, 04, full stop, Conway. Okay, here's the pattern altitude. We hit it as we're overflying the airfield, so that's absolutely perfect. I will level the plane out. Bring the power way back. Let her start slowing down. Our gear speed in this aircraft, Gracie, is 120 miles per hour. So this is in knots. And now we're going to transition to the original airspeed indicator, which is miles per hour. That's what all the V speeds are in. So we got to get below 120 before we drop the gear. We're going to get there for sure, because once we make a turn, we'll bleed off some airspeed too. Going to maintain pattern altitude through the turn. Then I'll start talking through what we're going to do. Okay, so left turn, no one's on downwind. Conway traffic, Mooney 79er 811 left downwind 04, full stop, Conway traffic. Okay, once we get a beam the numbers, we're going to drop the gear and go through our flow. So we're below 120, so we're good to do that. So here's the numbers, so gear's coming down. Down lock, pulled and indicating, close the power boost. Power comes back to about 13 and a half. Mixture comes in, prop comes in, fuel pump on, landing line on, flaps, 2 pumps, 1, 2. And then we're going to reach down here and we're going to trim the airplane to fly at 100 miles an hour. So we're going a little fast, so we're going to let that nose come up, perfect, right there. We're going to look back. Once that threshold gets about 45 degrees off our left side, we're going to make a left base turn. Before we do that, we're going to bring in one more notch of flaps. So right about there, here comes the next notch of flaps. No more flaps until we get below 100 now. Conway traffic, Mooney 79er 811 left base 04, full stop, Conway. Okay. Now we're below 100, and we don't make any turns in this airplane below 90 miles an hour. The safety thing. So we're a little high, so I'm going to bring in my last notch of flaps. We're below 100 miles an hour, so we can do that. That'll slow us down. And we're going to make our last turn here onto final. No one's on final. There is a bird over there. Conway traffic, Mooney 79er 811 final 04, full stop, Conway. Okay, so pushing the nose forward because we are below 90, so we don't want to put any G's on the airplane right now because we're so
500.
slow. And we are high, but we're getting back on glide slope here. There we go. No more turns. Now we can slow down to 80 miles an hour.
04.
Okay, and here's a slip. So if we're a little high, we want to get down lower, we'll use the rudder and we'll slip the airplane down, get back on glide slope, and then we'll bring it back. Nice. That's how you lose altitude without gaining airspeed. Okay, so airspeed's good, gas is good, undercarriage is down. Make sure proper set switches, set seatbelts are on, 04 ahead of us. Airspeed's good. We'll give it a little bit. I see a bird below us. Okay, gear is down, runway 04. There's a bird. Airspeed's good. Alright, so yep, just use that yoke to get us right above the runway. Once we get above the runway, we're going to hold the airplane off, okay, ready? So once that number disappears, there it goes, we're going to bring the nose up, bring the power back, look down the runway, and just keep it off the runway. Just keep it off. Pull back. Perfect. And then keep that nose wheel off the ground as long as you can, like do a wheelie. There you go. You protect the nose wheel. And just set it down nice and easy. And now we don't even really need the brakes. We're just going to let it slow down nice and easy. You can crack your door open, cool your dad off a little bit. Then we see Alpha 2 here, and that's where we're going to get off.
Alright.
Bring the flaps up, so push that up. Now the flaps are coming up. We didn't even have to touch the brakes, look at that. Alright, we're going to roll over these whole short lines all the way. The whole plane gets over, we're going to hit the brakes, come to a complete stop, make a call. Conway traffic, Mooney 79er 811, clear 04 at Alpha 2, Conway traffic. Now we're going to go through our after landing checklist. So landing light can come off, fuel pump can come off. You already brought the flaps up, cowl flaps come open. We're going to roll this forward 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, bring the mixture back again. We don't want too much fuel going in the engine. And that's it. Now we're going to make another call. We're going to look right. There's no one there. Look left. No one there. Conway traffic, Mooney 79er 811. Taxi to the ramp. Conway. Alright, I'm going to have you taxi us this time. Get your feet on the rudder pedals, if you can. Alright, and so push left to go left. So push left. Push it as hard as you can, all the way up there. I know you're having trouble reaching it. There you go, and then turn it nice and straight. There you go. And then push them a little bit to get a feel for it. Like you push on the right one, it'll go right. There you go, push on the left one, it should go left. Perfect. I'm going to give you some brakes, and we're going to turn right here, okay? Wait till you get to the line, and then make a hard right turn. Push that right pedal. Perfect. and then follow that yellow line, and then go past the yellow line, and we're gonna go up to the fuel tanks. I'm gonna give you some, keep going straight, now give me a left turn. Yep, there you go. We're gonna make sure that wing is gonna clear. We're not gonna smash into those concrete pillars. We're good. And we don't want jet fuel, so we're gonna pull up a little bit more and go to that avgas one. I'll give you brakes, which we're gonna use them right here. Perfect. Okay, now here's the shutdown. All the electronics off. We're gonna bring it to 1,000 RPM, and we're gonna pull the mixture. So I'm gonna have you do this part. So all you do is you push this button and pull it all the way out. Okay, when I tell you to do it. Okay.
All the way out. And then you shut the master off. Make sure you take these out. That's it. Cool.
Awesome. Nailed it. Yeah, that was great landing, bro.
Oh, thank you. It's easy when there's two people. All right, guys, we all made it to Myrtle Beach. We're at Conway Airport. How was it, Gracie?
It was awesome.
Awesome. Kent, good ride, right?
Yeah.
Said it was a good landing. We both had our hands on the yoke though, so we don't know whose landing it was, but it was good. It was smooth.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather all the way up to Myrtle Beach. And now we just fueled up and we're gonna get back in and fly home. But thank you guys so much for flying with me. That was an awesome time. And we gotta do it again. Cool.
Awesome.